Windsor police are searching for suspects after a hit-and-run crash near downtown left a bus shelter shattered, and investigators say the driver and passenger switched seats before leaving the scene. The sister of Nancy Grewal, killed 2.5 weeks ago, is speaking out, raising concerns about the threats she says her sister faced before her death.
She was giving everything and police are doing nothing, and the incident has happened.
And Ontario is moving to cap ticket resale prices at face value to crack down on scalpers.
CTV News with Stephanie Mazzotti.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on CTV Windsor and AM 800. Stephanie is off. I'm Sanjay Maru. 2.5 weeks into the investigation into the murder of Nancy Grewal, we're hearing from her family tonight. Her sister, Alicia, speaking to CTV News from India on the woman her sister was and the threats she says she had received leading up to her death. CTV's Kate Otterbein kicks things off tonight.
In the wake of her sister's murder, Alicia Grewal telling CTV News her family is devastated.
It's very difficult that time because my mom was crying very badly on that time. We are so close. She used to tell me everything and I used to tell her everything. Like we are like best friends.
It was the evening of March 3rd when Nancy Grewal was stabbed to death outside a home in LaSalle. A personal support worker, she was leaving the home of a client when she was attacked. Her sister, speaking to CTV News from India, says she and Nancy's mother knew something was wrong when they didn't see her arrive home through her security camera.
Mom and me was thinking there is some accident on road happened or something else, because in 7 years this is nothing happened. She never picked our calls. We are so worried.
Nancy had become known for posting videos to social media, some about her life since moving to Windsor, others voicing strong opinions about tense political issues back home in India. Her sister says that attention led to threats.
I'm a Canadian citizen, but I don't feel safe in this country right now.
From past 5 years, some people commenting on her videos, if you speak like this, we will murder you. But from few months, it's going very worse when someone burn her house.
In November of 2025, about 4 months before her death, Alicia says her sister reported an arson at her home and turned over security camera footage. Police didn't release that video publicly until this week, after Grewal's murder. Her sister now wondering if it might have made a difference.
She was continue complaining the police. She was continue giving written complaints to the police. She was giving everything, and police are doing nothing. And the incident has happened right now on 3rd of March.
CTV News reached out to Windsor Police, which would have had jurisdiction over the fire and any reported threats. The service says it can't comment directly, citing potential links to the ongoing homicide investigation. But in a statement, a spokesperson says police don't always issue public releases for a variety of reasons, including confidentiality considerations, the need to protect the integrity of ongoing investigations, and ensuring the safety of individuals involved. Still coming to terms with the loss of her sister, Alicia says she hopes people remember Nancy for the courage it took to speak her mind.
I want people, if people remember her, now remember her like a bravest soul on the earth.
Kate Otterbein, CTV News.
A 31-year-old man is in custody after a dangerous confrontation outside a downtown Windsor bar. Police say a verbal dispute between 3 people escalated when one man brandished and swung a machete. Officers arrested a suspect a short distance from the scene, seizing multiple weapons, including the machete. He now faces charges of possessing a weapon dangerous to public peace. A man from Essex County is under arrest after a dramatic crime spree across southwestern Ontario. OPP say on Wednesday he stole a car, forced his way into a home, and led officers on a chase through multiple towns, including Essex, Lambton, Huron, and Perth counties. The OPP helicopter tracking him, and he was eventually caught in Huron County. A police cruiser and the stolen car were damaged, and the suspect now faces several charges. Meanwhile, Windsor police are investigating a hit and run near downtown Windsor. Police say this incident happened March 1st around 6:15 p.m. This at the corner of University Avenue West and Bruce. A white four-door sedan driving into a bus shelter, completely shattering a glass panel. Investigators say after the crash, the driver and passenger switched places and the incident was not reported. At the time of the crash, the female driver was wearing a gray sweater, a long dark-colored skirt, and a dark-colored hijab. The male passenger wore dark clothing. The body of a 67-year-old scuba diver from Chatham was recovered this morning near the Erio Marina. Chatham-Kent police were called yesterday just before noon when the diver did not resurface. Officers say he was operating in the boat channel. Police say a coordinated response, including Chatham-Kent Fire and the OPP Underwater Search and Recovery Unit, due to the conditions in the channel, specialized equipment was required. Well, some patients in Ontario may have to pay out of pocket when they book an appointment with a nurse practitioner. It's the result of the province missing a federal deadline to create a policy to fund medically necessary services from nurse practitioners. Ontario Health Minister Sylvia Jones originally pushed Ottawa to close what she described as a loophole in the Canada Health Act. It allowed some nurse practitioner clinics to charge patient fees for primary care. Ottawa has since declared that nurse practitioner services are equivalent to what doctors provide. Provinces will begin incurring penalties for non-compliance next year. Ontario is looking to crack down on ticket scalpers, introducing new legislation that would cap resale prices at face value. The move is aimed at making concerts and sporting events more affordable. CTV's Chris Campbell joining me now in the newsroom to explain. Chris.
Yes, Sanjay. The Ontario government says it's planning to amend the Ticket Sales Act 2017 to level the playing field, but not everyone is convinced it will be that simple. Questions remain about how it will work and what impact it could have here in Windsor.
The province is proposing to cap ticket resale prices at face value plus fees, targeting what it calls price gouging in the secondary market.
I'm really excited that we released this information today to the people of Ontario, and it'll place a cap on ticket reselling at face values. I think it's going to put a nice playing field out there for folks that want to go to Jays games, Leaf games, concerts.
The legislation would apply to both individuals and companies, while also aiming to crack down on bots that scoop up tickets and drive up prices.
What this will do as well with this new legislation, it's going to make it unprofitable to resell those tickets. So it's going to allow everyday people to go in and get the tickets they want.
It's pretty good that they're doing that. I think it's good.
I think anything that's fair for the consumers is a really great move for the provincial government.
It makes it fair and accessible for everyone else that wants to go to the show.
For many music fans, the issue is already hitting home.
People complain about the price of tickets for sure. They just get outpriced out of the market to enjoy a show, which can be unfortunate, you know. It's become unaffordable, so, you know, people might grab a record instead of going to see the band they love.
That is an awesome idea. Awesome, yeah, because it's too much, especially when the kids are young and they want to see a concert. Or I want to go see a hockey game.
I haven't been to any concerts, but I've been to a few hockey games, and yeah, it is very, very expensive.
Some say the move could help, but won't change everything.
Well, I think it's a start for sure. When you look at our events, when you look at the big ticket sellers over here, it's obviously things that are happening across the river or big shows that are happening at Caesars. Anything to help or anything to that would benefit the consumer is a good thing.
Still, experts say the policy could reshape the ticket market altogether.
In all, it is a positive news for consumer welfare and general public welfare.
Vivek Ashtavar says removing the profit incentive could actually ease pressure on buyers.
Tickets will be available for a longer period of time because the incentives for these bots and small businesses to buy the tickets would now be gone.
But with other provinces and the U.S. not following suit, questions remain about how far the impact will reach.
The province says the legislation could be introduced within days and, if passed, would take effect as early as this spring. Sanjay?
All right, something we'll be following closely. CTV's Chris Campbell reporting for us tonight. And this takes us to our question of the day. Have you ever paid significantly more than face value for tickets to an event? Yes or no? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. Yesterday we asked, with Friday being the first day of spring, are you looking forward to nicer weather? Out of almost 900 votes, 69% say yes. And the first day of spring is here. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joining me now for our first look at the forecast. Gary.
Good evening, Sanjay. Good evening, folks. The worst of that wet weather early this morning has slid to our east and southeast. Even some thunderstorms embedded now that are working through the mid-Atlantic states. We are left with a bit of a clearing as we head towards dusk, but increasing cloudiness is the story with some gusty winds tomorrow morning and then some rain. Perhaps even some thunderstorm activity on Sunday night. But temperatures are headed on the way up, at least for the next couple of days. Things do get cool next week. This roller coaster ride of temperatures continues. I'll break down the entire story of the first full week of spring coming up. For now, I'll send it back to you at the desk.
A Windsor City councillor is siding with residents, saying he cannot support a proposed 3-story development at the corner of Cabana Road West and Casgrain Drive. The proposed building would have 29 residential units and 37 parking spaces with a single entrance on Casgrain Drive. Ward 1 councillor Fred Francis says other recent projects were semi-detached or townhomes that mirrored the character of the neighborhood. This one, however, he says does not fit. He adds he has concerns over parking, traffic, and precedent.
This was my concern all along when the city signaled to move forward with a 4-story residential development or a multi-story residential development at Roseland Golf Course. I knew this was going to set the precedent for other developments to follow, and here we are now dealing with the fallout of that. And my fear is that it's going to continue.
The development will be reviewed at the city's Development and Heritage Standing Committee on April 7th. A simple idea to support local troops overseas has grown into something much bigger than expected. An effort led by one local Royal Canadian Legion branch to send care packages has quickly expanded, with other groups across Windsor-Essex stepping up to help.
It started from an idea my church did several years ago, where we would put together shoeboxes for underprivileged children in foreign countries. I heard that our service personnel overseas were in need of some comforts from home, and the Armories was sending over some small care packages. So I said, you know what, this is a good project for the Legion. So I put the word out. I put out 20 shoeboxes and asked people to fill them up with comforts from home. About 3 hours after I set them up, they were gone.
We've heard from different other veterans that getting a care package is like gold to them because people care.
When I was overseas and I was feeling homesick, you start to think about that, like what the comfort meal that you got as a kid, the snack that you liked growing up. And for me, it was Funyuns. So I told my parents, I'm like, can you find me some Funyuns and send them to me? Boxes of maple cookies, like things that you can only get in Canada that you can't get overseas. That's what a lot of people like to get, right? So all dress chips, your coffee crisp and your Smarties and things like that. The things that make you think of home.
The 20 shoeboxes I asked for have turned into over 200 shoeboxes of care packages we're sending to our troops overseas. It's developed a life of its own. I call it the monster I created. I got a message from the other Legion said, Dave, you've created a tsunami. The packages just keep coming in. So I don't see an end in sight.
Well, it's the end of an era at Windsor Regional Hospital. President and CEO Karen Rydell wrapping up her final day on the job. While she's only held the top role officially since last summer, her career in healthcare spans nearly 4 decades. CTV's Travis Fortnum sat down with Rydell, looking back on her journey and what comes next. Travis, I understand her career starts here in Windsor.
Yeah, it started right here with her graduating from the University of Windsor in 1989. From there, she built her skills across multiple healthcare systems, including in Detroit and out west, before returning to Windsor, where she would spend the bulk of her career. And now, after decades in the profession, Rydell has packed up her office and signed off for the final time.
For 27 years, Karen Rydell has walked the halls of Windsor Regional Hospital, the past nearly 2 years leading it. Friday, she walks them as an employee for the last time.
I remember when I first started here in 1999, and I signed up for the pension plan, and you get your package and it tells you like your earliest retirement date is 2026, and I'm like, oh, how am I 20, like 2026? That's and yet it seems like it went by in like a poof.
Her journey at Windsor Regional began in 1999, but her career in nursing began a decade earlier, inspired, she says, by her grandmother, then shaped by the University of Windsor.
I remember, like, in fourth year nursing, they teach you leadership and all that. I'm like, I don't want to be a leader. I just want to be a nurse. I just want to take care of people.
About 6 years into her career, Rydell says she realized leadership could be another way to care for people, supporting staff on the front lines. She moved into an educator role, then manager, then director, and by 2020, vice president. That's when COVID-19 hit.
We prepared for a long time before we got our first actual patient. Sometimes when you're waiting for something bad to happen, the waiting is worse than once it actually starts, and then you get into it and you take care of business.
Rydell was there on the ground as Windsor Regional transformed a gym at St. Clair College into a 100-bed field hospital.
I remember when we started bringing patients in, that was a real whoa, like this is really happening right now.
But as the pandemic eased, some pressures didn't, including a growing problem on the front lines, abuse and aggression toward healthcare staff.
The unfortunate reality is that we're still dealing with that day after day, so that can make a hard job even harder.
In spite of the pressure, the loss, and the long hours, Rydell encourages young people to pursue a career in nursing.
Luckily, in my career at least, in all the different places that I've worked, there's been a lot more good than bad. And the people that I've worked with have really been there to support me through any of the kind of rough times.
In retirement, she's looking forward to more time with family, more reading that doesn't involve emails or briefing notes, some gardening, and some travel.
The one that I'm really excited about, though, is I'm going to Antarctica next year.
And after helping guide Windsor Regional through decades of change, she says she's looking forward to watching the region's new acute care hospital rise, this time as a member of the community.
Jokingly, Rydell says she hopes she's still on the invite list for the groundbreaking this summer for the new acute care hospital. I'm going to go a little off the script here, and I'm just going to say, like, Karen Rydell is so real. She's always been so nice and so accessible, and it's always been a pleasure to be able to talk to her. Kristen Kennedy officially steps into the role of president and CEO on Monday.
Well, I'm sure, Travis, she will be invited to that groundbreaking.
Probably, and we'll probably be there.
Definitely, definitely. And it sounds like an incredible career. Congratulations on your retirement, Karen. Well, do you have thoughts or comments on a story? We'd like you to share them with us. Send us a text to 10400. Still ahead on Windsor's news leader, the ominous warning from Iran and what it means for tourist sites around the world. And how the Iranian missile strikes in the Middle East could benefit British Columbia. Start your day with the latest local news. Sign up for our newsletter for direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca. Iranian authorities issuing a threat today of worldwide attacks while declaring they're still building missiles 3 weeks into the war with Israel and the U.S. Meanwhile, as CTV's Judy Trin reports, American officials say they're moving thousands more Marines into the region.
American warplanes and attack helicopters are striking more Iranian targets in efforts to reopen the Hormuz Strait. The United States is also sending 3 more warships and 2,500 more Marines to the Persian Gulf.
No force on earth can beat the American sailors or the American military.
But for the first time in this war, a U.S. F-35 stealth fighter, nearly invisible to radar, was struck over Iran and forced to do an emergency landing. Donald Trump continues to complain that allies are not sending military support to the Strait. On Truth Social, Trump said NATO without the U.S. would be a paper tiger. He called them cowards, unwilling to help despite so little risk. We will remember, the president warned. Allies were not consulted before the U.S. and Israel launched attacks on Iran. 3 weeks after the war started, 7 allies, including Canada, are expressing readiness to contribute appropriate efforts to ensure safe passage through the strait.
Celle-ci est strictement défensive.
French President Emmanuel Macron said the help would be strictly defensive to support regional allies and preserve freedom of navigation. Macron did not provide more details about how that will be done. At the White House, Trump seemed to imply that talks to de-escalate would be difficult.
And now nobody wants to be a leader over there anymore. We're having a hard time. We want to talk to them, and there's nobody to talk to. We have nobody to talk to. And you know what? We like it that way.
Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, has not been seen publicly and has only issued written statements. Donald Trump says he believes Khamenei is badly injured. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
And Iran's military warning that parks, recreational areas, and tourist destinations around the globe will not be safe for its enemies, renewing concerns of militant attacks far beyond the region, including here in Canada. CTV's Abigail Beeman now on the security threat and what can be done about it.
As reported by the state broadcaster, Iran's top military spokesperson warned Friday parks, recreational areas, and tourist destinations won't be safe for Tehran's enemies around the globe. CTV News reached out to a number of top tourism destinations and organizations in Canada, as well as law enforcement. Canada's spy agency told CTV News the terrorism threat level from Iran has not changed, still at medium, meaning that a violent extremist attack remains a realistic possibility. The most likely scenario for serious violence involves a lone actor whose intent to mobilize is unknown to authorities and who may be inspired by the Mideast conflict.
Iran has a long history of striking abroad. It goes back to the 1980s, the attack against the Marine barracks in Beirut. In the 90s, there was an attack against a Jewish center in Argentina.
We have to obviously be concerned because we know that the IRGC has capabilities globally. They work with organized criminal groups to do targeted killings through transnational repression.
This international security expert says he is most worried about the upcoming World Cup, with thousands attending and the eyes of the world on the U.S., Mexico, and Canada.
I know already that counterterrorism agencies and those that are working on security for the World Cup have had to factor in the Iran dynamic now. And also Iran is qualified to play.
Canada's Tourism Industry Association declined an interview, but told us in a statement they're concerned about any threats that could impact travelers, tourism workers, or destinations, saying they're monitoring official Government of Canada advice carefully and encouraging others to do the same. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
An Iranian missile strike has wiped out key gas installations in the Middle East, threatening the global supply of liquefied natural gas. Experts say the strike could limit output for up to 5 years. And as Martin McMahon reports, that could present an opportunity for British Columbia.
Right now, the world needs Canada's LNG.
Iran admits it struck the largest LNG field in the world, which is in Qatar. It's retaliation for an Israeli strike on its largest gas facility. And with Qatar set to face major export challenges for years, there are calls to ramp up LNG in BC, including from former BC Premier Christy Clark, who championed the industry while in power.
If the regulatory process hadn't got all gummed up by the Trudeau government and then the NDP government that came in 2017, I absolutely am sure that we would be helping the world right now by shipping LNG from British Columbia.
Energy Minister Adrian Dix is pushing back on the idea BC missed a window to ramp up production.
Well, when John Horgan became a premier, there were 0 LNG projects in BC. We now have one that's exporting. LNG Canada is exporting to Asia now, and we've got 4 LNG projects under construction, with more in the approval stage. So BC is well positioned because of the policies we've taken in the last few years.
Ultimately, the Premier says LNG will be a focus and companies will look at stability.
And it just underlines our case, as tragic as it is, that British Columbia is a safe place in an incredibly uncertain world.
But I think what we're seeing in the Middle East underlines Canada's selling point, which is that we're a much more stable environment, not as risky and not as prone to these kinds of disruptions.
But some fear increased urgency could lead to environmental compromise.
We behave as though we are beholden to these technologies, to these companies, and as if Canada's only option is to exploit and export our resources as fast as we can. We know that's not true.
The supply crunch comes with 4 LNG projects under construction, and LNG Canada's owners expected to make a decision this year on expanding its Kitimat facility. Martin McMahon, CTV News, Vancouver.
Residents in parts of Havana are collecting water from tanker trucks as Cuba continues to deal with electricity and fuel shortages. People have been lining the streets with buckets as residents say a lack of running water means they have to wait for it to be delivered, then carry it home and boil it before drinking. Cuba's electricity grid suffered another collapse this week, leaving much of the country without power and creating more pressure on water distribution systems. Mars Canada is investing $180 million to expand and modernize its Ontario operations with major impacts in Newmarket and Bolton. In Newmarket, there will be a $40 million upgrade to snacking operations to increase production capacity. And in Bolton, at the facility that has been in the community for 25 years now, $86 million is going into boosting production for pet nutrition. The company says the investment supports more than 1,800 workers across the region. Markets in Canada and the U.S. continuing to trade lower while oil went up. In Toronto, the TSX lost 537 points. In New York, the Dow fell 444, the Nasdaq dropping 443. The Canadian dollar gaining a modest 0.06 cents. And on commodity markets, gold loses almost $31 an ounce, but oil adds $2.68 a barrel. From wellness fads to hospital basics, coming up, Canadian doctors are going online to fight medical myths.
Let's look at our CTV News weather snapshot. Thanks to Sherry Verga for sending in this image. Just ahead, how will the first weekend of the spring season unfold weather-wise? I have the answer, my forecast with the details. It's coming up on CTV News Windsor.
Cloudy one out there, but we've got the weekend to look forward to as we bring in Gary Archibald for an extended look at the forecast. Gary.
Yeah, cloudy this morning and lightening up a bit through the afternoon, evening. But before we talk weekend, the first weekend of the spring season, you want to know this. Your Money Mayhem PIN number for today is 5149. That's 5149. Enter it now at ctvwindsor.ca and be listening to Mike and Meg, as always in the morning, specifically at 8:37 a.m. They might just be calling you to play this great game. So temperatures have soared across much of the midsection, if you will, of North America. U.S. Central Plains through the Midwest, now pushing east into the Great Lakes, hence a temperature near 23 degrees with some sunshine as we approach dusk. Pretty incredible. Not a record, by the way. The record set back in 2012, 28.5 degrees Celsius on a March 20th. That was a scorcher, to be sure. Air quality has deteriorated over the last couple of days. We are in the medium range, now a 4 on a scale of 1 to 10. So we're in the yellow. It's not horrible, but it's not the greatest. Wind gusts. We are windy now and through this evening into tomorrow morning, and then lightening up Saturday through the midday and afternoon. It will be a cloudy day tomorrow. And getting back to those temperatures, we have seen this warm surge as this ridge of high pressure that is dominating the midsection of North America is starting to help circulate that warmth. 16 degrees in Chatham County, a bit cooler there, but still well above seasonal. And you get a sense looking at the U.S. temperatures. Rapid City's at 27, Des Moines, Iowa's at 26, Cleveland's at 17, 5 degrees in Toronto, only about 4 degrees in Oshawa. So cooler air to the north and east of us. The worst weather has slid south of, well, St. Lawrence. and the eastern townships where we saw plentiful snow. Some of the rain this morning, and it did come as forecast, really was generally speaking light. But look at how there's really no cloud over the midsection of the continent, right? Relatively speaking, certainly not any precipitation to see. It's just cloudy tonight into tomorrow. The next system brings snow to the north and east of us. So we're just contending with cloudiness and mild temperatures tonight. 13 degrees at 8 a.m., some areas up to 16. And then between 4 and 8 degrees Celsius between 10 p.m. tonight and midnight. Take a look at the Intercare 7-day SILs. Tomorrow, cloudy, 8 degrees, 14 on a rainy Sunday. Cool and much colder Monday, Tuesday, 4 then 7, 5, 4, and 4. Seasonal next week with some flurries and a rain mix.
If you spend any time at all on social media, you've no doubt seen plenty of medical and wellness influencers touting supplements or unproven treatments that can cost big bucks or affect your health. Now, doctors are giving those internet personalities a taste of their own medicine by promoting their own social media influencers. CTV's Penny Daflos explains.
At first blush, they seem like a lot of reels on social media.
Stop doom scrolling.
But this isn't just entertainment.
I have no idea what the hell I'm saying.
It's actually a very thoughtful move targeting medical mis and disinformation.
It's a real skill set to be able to explain things in the types of language that anybody will understand.
The Canadian Medical Association has a growing team of influencers taking facts to Canadians on the social media platforms where they already spend time.
We need to make sure that we're interesting enough that people are engaging and wanting to watch videos, wanting to understand what we have to say, while still making sure that you are providing the evidence, that you are making sure that your advice is sound.
The videos range from basic info about hospitals to highlighting the absurdity and harms found in the wellness industry.
Do not put strange things into your vagina.
Super surprised at some of the videos of mine that have taken off. Like I have one about constipation that tens of thousands of people have watched, and I'm like, really? Okay, great.
Rita McCracken is a family doctor in Vancouver, quickly growing her online presence with evidence-based communication.
I'm glad to have a chance to speak to folks and to use my training and my ability to parse through the evidence.
There's all these different incentives for people to monetize misinformation and really very few guardrails to protect against it.
Wes Regan is studying these issues at UBC and is giving the Healthcare for Real project top marks for tackling everything from juice cleanses to artificial intelligence to adult ADHD diagnoses.
It comes off as authentic, which I think is important because a lot of the issues of trust often boil down to people feeling that these large institutions are these distant, opaque, big machines.
Because behind those cheeky videos,
'tis but a scratch,
are serious messages about pricey or even dangerous alternatives.
She was afraid of getting vaccinated blood. So this became a very life or death situation for this individual because of misinformation.
Another reason to take a good look at whose information you're absorbing. Penny Daflos, CTV News, Vancouver.
New data from Statistics Canada is outlining the impact screen time is having on kids. Researchers studied the same cohort of kids in 2019 and 2023 and found 44% followed the Canadian Pediatric Society's screen time guidelines. That's 2 hours for kids between 5 and 17 years old, 1 hour for kids between 2 and 5, and no screen time at all for kids under the age of 2. Those who followed the guidelines were less likely to have anxiety, wear glasses, or have difficulty learning, remembering, and making friends. TV star and martial arts legend Chuck Norris has died at the age of 86. Still ahead, we look back at his iconic career and legacy. He was known by audiences on TV and online as the ultimate tough guy who could stop any criminal. Actor and martial artist Chuck Norris has died. Norris starred in many independent action and martial arts films. His first claim to fame, starring in the long-running TV series Walker, Texas Ranger, Earlier this week, Norris suffered an undisclosed medical emergency while in Hawaii. His family says he died yesterday morning, surrounded by loved ones. Norris celebrated his 86th birthday days ago on March 10th. In fact, he posted a video online with him boxing.
I don't age, I level up.
Scammers typically go door to door in the spring trying to convince homeowners their home needs repairs or renovations. But there have been many cases of fraud this past winter, enough that police have issued a warning to be cautious of aggressive contractors. CTV's Pat Foran has more.
Colleen McMichael says contractors came to her door and offered a free roof inspection. They claimed her home was in such poor shape, her roof was about to collapse. She spent almost $50,000 on shoddy repairs.
They were really pushing me and, yes, frightening me into thinking that something devastating would happen to the roof and to my house if I didn't take care of it.
Someone also knocked on Leslie Bentley's door offering a free inspection. He claimed her roof was in terrible shape and about to cave in. The scammer charged her $7,000 and tried to get her to pay $27,000 more.
I think I started to cry. I was really upset.
Hamilton police issued a warning saying be careful if someone unexpectedly knocks on your door.
If it's a real good contractor, they're going to be booked up during this part of the year especially. So if they just happen to be in your area and they want to help you out with your house, be wary of that.
Warning signs of renovation scams include unsolicited door-to-door offers, sudden price increases once work begins, high-pressure sales tactics, unmarked vehicles and mismatched company names, and poor quality rushed unfinished work. In the roofing scam, the contractor may actually wreck your roof to convince you it needs repairs.
They'll come down and show you pictures of what you're actually dealing with, and they deceive you. They make you think that that's how your home actually is, but they've actually caused the damage, and they're the ones that want the work.
To protect yourself from scams, get multiple estimates, research the company, avoid large upfront payments, don't pay in full until the job is completed, get a written contract, and take your time. Police say as the warm weather arrives, they expect driveway paving scams will begin. Fraudsters may use cheap materials, do a poor job, and then leave debris behind for the homeowners to deal with. Pat Foran, CTV News.
A new survey suggests a majority of Canadians, they're fed up with tipping and want to get rid of it altogether. CTV's Kimberly Fowler digs into the data and how this change could impact the service industry.
A lot of Canadians say they're pretty much done with tipping.
I think it should be included in the price. You shouldn't be asked to tip.
Just because you're doing your job doesn't mean you need to be tipped for doing your job.
Many businesses implemented suggesting tipping options during the pandemic, but now the expectation to leave a tip has some customers saying it's gone too far.
I used to love tipping extra for really good service, and I feel like that's kind of gone away now. Even for bare minimum service, they expect 18-20%.
And they're not alone. A new survey by H&R Block finds 2/3 of Canadians want to do away with the practice. And nearly 9 out of 10 people say they resent businesses that ask for tips at places where they don't feel tipping is necessary. And 4 out of 10 people say they avoid going to places that ask for tips at the register, like fast food places, coffee shops, or self-service counters.
I go to Chuck's here quite a bit. They don't ask for a tip, and the service is fantastic.
At Chuck's Deli and Convenience at train yards, tips aren't expected, but appreciated.
They have a tip jar, which is optional at the counter, which I do quite often with them because the ladies are fabulous.
The owner believes all tips should be left up to his customers.
Some good customers like to, and some people they don't. They walk out without tipping. One guy, construction worker guys, he grabbed a $50 and he put it for a lady. So you never know.
Chicken, pickle, vegetable?
But getting rid of tipping could affect the day-to-day operations in the service industry, and at restaurants, it could mean higher prices for customers to offset the loss of income to employees.
I would assume it would be included in the price. I mean, minimum wage is quite high already, so if tipping were to be taken away, I don't know what that would look like. I don't know what the workforce would look like for that.
But many say the tip options make them feel guilty or pressured.
Even though we feel annoyed by this question for the tip on the machine, 57% of us, so more than half of us, will give a tip anyway.
Kimberly Fowler, CTV News.
Turning now to Lancer hockey, the University of Windsor team will advance to the semifinals in Thursday's quarterfinal. Alex Cunningham had a pair of goals to lead the Windsor Lancers past the Mount Royal Cougars 4-3. Jacob Boucher and Brady Hintz had the other goals for Windsor. Now Windsor will face St. Mary's in a semifinal on Saturday.
This is your CTV Windsor, our community calendar. On campus and Lancer Recreation invite you to the second annual Move for Mason Triathlon fundraiser, Sunday, March the 29th, at the Toldell Lancer Center. See you next time on Our Community.
Time to check in on what's happening now with Kate Otterbein. Kate, I understand you have some information on two grocers who recently received some very large fines.
Yes, that's right. Two separately owned Loblaw grocers were fined $10,000 each for mislabeling some food as Canadian. This comes at a time where shoppers are scouring the shelves looking for that maple leaf tag. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency is cracking down on misleading Made in Canada labels. Since April last year, 5 stores across the country have been hit with fines totaling $47,000. The most recent, 2 Toronto area grocers. Each were fined $10,000 for allegedly mislabeling cheese and broccoli slaw. Loblaw, the parent company, says it's taking labeling seriously and wants customers to trust what they see on the shelves. We've got more details and more online at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And Kate, I understand a Windsor woman is walking away with $1 million from a lottery ticket.
Yes, this is always an exciting story. Zina Hamid Naman, of Windsor won on a Lotto 649 gold ball draw. What makes this such a special win, though, she says her mother gave her the numbers to play before she passed away. She plans to pay some bills, invest, and share with her siblings. The winning ticket was bought at the Canadian Tire Gas Bar on Talbot Street in Leamington. And in our social spotlight tonight, all great tennis players need a good coach. This player has one of the best. Little Isabella can do it all. She's her mom's coach, ball girl, and entertainment. At just 15 months old, she hasn't missed a day on the court with her favorite player. What cute memories to create together. Seeing them laugh is just one of the sweetest moments, and it's one I'm sure Isabella's mom will remember forever.
I know I mentioned my 18-month-old daughter this week, and I know people are watching thinking I'm going to use this as another excuse to bring her up for the millionth time this week, but I'm sorry. I got to go back to that lotto story. Her mother gave her the numbers before she passed away. That's incredible.
I know, and what a sign from up above.
Honestly,
crazy.
My goodness. Well, that's what's happening now. How can viewers submit a video for our trending segment, Kate?
Yes, you can send us an email at newsnow@bellmedia.ca or text it to 10400.
Thanks, Kate. Hidden treasure coming up, the extraordinary finding under a golf course buried for more than a century. Gary Archibald joining me now at the desk for our final look at the weather.
Looks like we are mild, certainly today. Perfect example of that low 20s. We'd normally be closer to about 6-7 degrees Celsius. Not a record today. We'll cool off tomorrow, get down to about 8 to 10 degrees between Windsor, Essex, Chatham, Kent, about 8 degrees, 14 and some rain showers on Sunday. So we're warming up a bit, and then we'll be cooling down. 4, 7, 5, then 4 and 4. So next week we could see a bit of a mix as well.
Yeah, very active weather in this first week of spring here. A lot of flurries, the mix of rain and snow. I imagine golfers are going to be looking for that weather to clear up. Now, in terms of golfing, can you imagine finding a 19th century wine cellar beneath your favorite course? Well, that actually happened in England. They dug up a sinkhole, and as Jeremy Roth shows us, they found a more than a century-old secret.
Take a look at a fascinating 100-plus-year-old wine cellar discovered buried beneath a golf course. It started when a groundskeeper at the Davy Hume Park Golf Club in Manchester, England, was inspecting a sinkhole near the course's 13th hole. Thinking it was a collapsed drain in need of repair, they started digging and discovered it was instead a sealed 19th-century wine cellar packed with empty age-old wine and port bottles. The BBC reports officials believe the cellar had been sealed for more than 100 years and may have been part of a former manor that dated back to the 12th century, but was demolished in 1888. The golf club shared pics and vids of the fascinating find on social media, removed the historic bottles for safekeeping, and sealed the cellar back up while they decide what to do with it next. I'm Jeremy Roth.
Very respectful of them to seal that thing back up. I feel like I would have just kept it open and just kept exploring. That's
it's,
you know, who knows what's under there.
It's incredible to see the discoveries, but often this is where we had a story just recently about an ancient gold coin.
That's right.
Or a silver coin being discovered in England, finding stuff from ancient Rome when the Romans ruled, obviously, not ancient Rome, but specifically. I love the idea of finding those kinds of time capsule pieces all over the place.
I learned so much about history when we're sitting up here together, Gary. I just want to say that on the air here.
Thank you. I appreciate
on behalf of our dedicated team here at CTV News Windsor, thank you so much for watching.
For updates throughout the evening, go to ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And Lauren Stallone and Gary will be back with your only late local newscast at 11.
We'll see you then.